Welcome to Take Your Lead podcast. I'm glad that you've joined us and that you're part of a community of leaders who are intentional and purposeful about their growth. Today's podcast episode is one that will take and help you take your leadership to the next level. I'm joined in studio by a returning guest, in fact, a resident guest, because as I always say, most of the knowledge that I have, I draw from this well of wisdom. So predominantly all that you get secondhand. But today's episode is so special because you'll be getting it directly from this reservoir of wisdom. I'm extremely honored and never take for granted to be joined by the one and only our father, incredible leader. And I know a lot of us know him as a pastor within the community of faith. But over and above that, he does a lot of incredible things within the coaching space, coaching executives, high performers. And he's done quite a lot of extensive work within that. In today's podcast episode, I'll really be gleaning from that. And as leaders, seeing how best we can take our leadership, because again, leadership is not contextual, but it applies in everything that you do. So ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome, I call him my father, so I'm going to be a bit challenged in terms of terminology, but he's known as Sabelo Ndimande, a pastor, a husband, a leader of note. And thank you so much, Dad, for joining us this beautiful episode.
It's such an honor, Actually, the honor is ours that we get a rare opportunity and a time to be able to come and just share the space, have a good chat with you. And thank you for being kind and saying all those nice things, which are putting pressure. But other than that, we are honored, we're extremely grateful that we can get this time just to come to, have a conversation on the Take a Lead. You've been doing incredible. People must continue to follow, share with you your following or your space. We are truly grateful. Leadership is a very important thing in any manner. Everyone lead themselves. There's no one who can say they don't need leadership.
Yes, sir. And funny enough, I love what you said, because today's episode is really, it's every time. In fact, as Baba mentioned, that we'll be doing it around the world, just candid conversations, speaking to leadership pet peeves. And I think I just thought for today, in fact, we'll term the episode today a leadership toolbox.
Yes, sir.
In terms of what every leader needs within their toolbox. But maybe before we start, I just want to tee it off. I know, and just to brag a bit on you, you are well traveled, you stood on platforms and stages that we wish to stand on. You've done a lot of incredible things. And I think one of the conversations we once had, after having stood there, rubbed shoulders with all the greats, what was your experience and what did you learn from that space in terms of leadership at that level, and maybe speaking to the younger generation who are aspiring for all that?
That's a very dangerous question, but I will try to answer it. Obviously, everyone has a privilege that they get and opportunities that everyone gets. I think first thing is everyone must always be able to appreciate their lane, appreciate the opportunities. Because sometimes people put pressure to stand in stages that they are not their lane, that they're not called for, and it's not theirs. And then they don't get time to appreciate who they are and the platform they receive, because they are not apprehensive or cognizant of the fact that I'm running my lane. But one of the things, obviously, we had a chat with you that I realized was most people think leadership or they are pursuing something that is external. When you start a vision or a dream, you always think you are pursuing something external. You think you are pursuing you want to build a business, you want to build a family, you want to build a company, you want to achieve a degree. Everything seems external. You want to be better in sport. You want to play better soccer, better golf. It always seems like it's something that I want to grab and I want to have, which is interesting, and it's very. It could be an illusion or elusive in the fact that you never reach it. To show that it really not external, it's internal.
Wow.
Because when you start something, you like, if I can just build a company, have 5 staff members, I'll be satisfied. And your dream is thinking, I want to grab this. By the time you have 4 staff, you want to open another branch. Or by the time you have R1,000,000, you realize I can have 10. By the time you are a 10 handicapper on golf, you realize I can scratch this.
Yes,
by the time you're playing soccer in your neighborhood, you realize there's PSL. The deal with the leadership is you must be cognizant that you're pursuing what is internal.
Wow.
You are fighting with yourself, trying to perfect what is internal that can be expressed from what is external. So certain platforms and certain places that by the God's grace I've been able to manage, I learned something there, that I can have a moment or a stage for 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 45 minutes. But after 45 minutes, I have to come and meet me. So I realized that I'm actually pursuing me. I'm trying to perfect me. I'm trying to look for me. That's why people who are competitive and negatively competitive and people who are always want to be like someone, they never get happy. Because even if you meet someone, you ask yourself, I've met them, then what? Because what you are pursuing, in fact, after a while, you realize you're just trying to get into yourself.
Wow. Podcast family, I don't know about you, but I encourage you, if you don't have your pen and notebook ready yet, please go back. The first 2 minutes was pure gold. Maybe to double click on this question, because he said something so profound within how, at the end of the day, it needs to be an internal persuasion and whatever it is that you are pursuing, rather. Maybe now to a leader who's building their business, building their family, building their life, and the question would be twofold. One being, how do you work in the business and at the same time work on the business? Because I believe it's 2 different things, especially when you're an entrepreneur where everything revolves around you. And I think one of the things you taught me is that whatever you build will grow to your size and your size of your leadership. How do you now juggle working in the business and being able to step out and working on the business, organization, family, whatever it is that you are building?
It's interesting, Zeb, because the deal also is this. Most of us are trying to work on a business. We're trying to work on a relationship.
Yes.
We're trying to work on an achievement instead of working in ourselves. Because if anything is going to come out of you, you can't give what you don't have. And you can't be what you are not. So that's another deal. Most people will see someone driving a car and they're like, I want to drive this car, I want to be this. Instead of taking time to develop and work self. Because whatever you have done is a display of your wisdom.
Wow.
It's a display of your capacity.
Sure.
In fact, if you want to know who Sabelo, who Zeb is, let's come to your house, your place, your sphere, your family. If I walk in there, then I can see the capacity or the potential that you have in your capacity. Because words, everyone can declare whatever they are. So the deal is, the more I work self, the more what is around me will flourish. If self is flourishing, everything around me is going to flourish. If the soil is dry, whatever seed you do, everything is going to be dry. So one of the better things to build your company, your business, your vision is to build self. Is to be cognizant and be honest with self. The danger about people, and that's why people crash, because they put so much effort to build a company that is known, that everyone appreciates, or to build something or create something. It's very hard to sustain something that is not internal.
Sure.
Because you get under pressure to try to keep people looking at this verse, but it's not internal.
Sure.
Anything that is fake and that is not you, at some point you'll get tired of holding a image. But if I'm building passion in who I am, I can lose this, but there is more within me. So I can reproduce after my own kind. Thus we go to school, because the knowledge we get at tertiary, at your level, you will take it wherever you are. At university, we call it theory, but you are possessing, you training you for what you're going to be for the rest of your life. So when you do business, read more books on business. Find a coach that is going to coach you. Because if you let's make an example. If you as a leader are happy, your staff is going to be happy. Your environment is going to be happy. When your environment, your staff is happy, your company is happy, money is going to follow happiness. Because money is attracted to energy. Money is energy. It's called currency. So it works on currencies. So if you then are cringing and confused, many people have done this, particularly during COVID. People think, they don't understand that stress sabotages income. Personal stress. Because if you stress first, physiologically now or psychologically, you're not creative. You're not at your best. And either you know it, you can act it out. If you're around the energies, you can smile, but you'll walk in the walls of your company, they will suck in stress energy. Even the client who comes when you are sad, they know there's nothing that say come tomorrow. Because the energy in the room is stressful. So if I work on myself and I walk in my business with high energy, my staff, they are pulling from me high energy. The clients that are in, they want to come tomorrow. Most people don't understand energies. Because I can fakely smile on a client and the client is sitting and say, I'm not coming here next week because it's dry, it's stressful. People want to walk in places that are going to give energy. So in a nutshell, if you work in yourself, and if self is empowered, if self is leadership is sharp, it's going to flow to your staff, it's going to flow to your business, and it's going to flow to what you do. If there are many podcasts in the world, and there are many people who are selling makeup in the world, there are many people who are selling music in the world. So why do you should buy your music? Why should people come to you? You will learn after a while that people don't really buy music, they buy a person. There are people, if you say someone has released music, they don't even have to hear the song, they're buying the whole album because they're buying a brand, they're buying a person. If you go to certain spheres and you hear a certain professor if you go to academia, a certain professor is in UP giving a lecture, you put your last money to go there. You don't even know, you don't have notes, but you are buying a person. So if a person, that's why if you are a nasty person, there are many people who have not worked on themselves. I'm going to throw this up. That one of the sad things is to see a millionaire that has a financially rich millionaire that has a poor, stinking attitude. At some point, their attitude will sabotage their account. Yes, sir.
Again, I did tell you, podcast family, that it's really a fast-moving train. Nuggets, bombs of wisdom, and I'm actually sitting here and absorbing this so much. And thank you so much. You're adding so much value to us. I just want to backtrack a bit, sorry, and I want to double click on something incredible you mentioned within how it begins with you developing yourself. I think one of the conversations we had, especially within study and growing, here you are, you're studying, you're a young professional. But there's a line which separates greatness, as you always say, where it's beyond academia, where it's beyond the knowledge that you have, where there are certain soft skills that a leader needs. There's an amazing book you wrote, which we'll link in the bio later when we close off the episode, A Resilient Spirit. In fact, one of your, not even hobbies now, but one of your, I would say, professions, because you're so good at it, is golfing. And beyond just being able to hit the ball, as you mentioned, there's a mind, there's this layer, this thin invisible. Please speak to that, especially to a leader who has the qualification, but they're just lacking the soft skills that will take whatever they do to the next level.
Life has taught me, with a couple of minutes living life, I've learned a couple of things and I'm still learning. One of the things I had to ask myself is, what makes 10 accountants who go to the same high school, go to the same university, work at the same company, but they have a different outcome? After a while, if you observe them, someone around that is a household name, and others are dwindling, no one sees them. If the education is the same, what is different?
Sure.
What makes the whole team be like that? And then you find Messi or Ronaldo or in the back day Dr. Khumalo. When everyone is there, what makes a tiger? And when the field is full with 200 players, then you realize after a while that there is a level where either academia or training can take you so far. But when you train 10 people today on IT, I can guarantee you after 10 years they will never be in the same level, because there is a line above training. There is a mindset above qualification and graduation. I mean, look at in our country or globally. How many people graduate every year? Business, MPA, masters. Where are they? Some of them can't even talk MPA. When you hear them talking, you won't know, because there is a line above. There is a certain hunger that every leader must say, I am trained at this level. And again, this might sound on someone. Sometimes pain has a very good lessons that university might not give you. It's just how you manage pain and what people call failures.
Yes,
that becomes a layer above average. What makes people great, I mean, Nelson Mandela was not the only one in prison. In the days of Martin Luther King Jr., there were many activists.
Yes,
currently, there are many, but there is a line above. If you look at temperaments in our own world and the presidencies we have, there's always a line that is now a person, a personality, and who you are. And that's where we need to develop ourselves to have tenacity, to have patience, to have a level of hunger that says, I'm going to swallow anything that is on my way. And greatness is always a decision.
Wow.
Sir.
Maybe just to speak more to this as well, especially within managing disappointments. I think every leader definitely goes through stuff. I think the truth of the matter is, if you're hustling, if you're doing something, you will be disappointed. Worse, we're recording this within the backdrop of COVID, which came with a lot of disappointment. How would you speak to someone who's very disappointed, and how does one go about managing disappointment and expectation?
We had a conversation on that earlier. Every leader must learn. When you talk about vision, you're talking about expectation. You expect an outcome. But at any given time, it's very rare where your expectation and outcome are on the same par. Most people are disappointed that in fact, let's put it this way, there is an effort, there is expectation, and there is outcome. And sometimes if you're building something, you could put a lot of, maybe because you're putting a lot of effort in a wrong thing, but let's leave that. You could put a lot of effort, thinking by this effort, I should have this outcome. Or my expectation is that because I do this, I should have this level of money. And then the results would not be equivalent to expectation. Because people are creative, and sometimes we gravitate to hoping for the good. So a leader must be very, very intentional, streetwise, smart, in understanding, in patience also, in understanding I expect to be there in 2020. But if COVID comes, I must be able to manage my expectation and the outcome so that I don't get disappointed. In fact, disappointment is one of the killers of entrepreneurs, of younger people, of this, because you try something, you get it, there's no income, there's no clients. There is no, I mean, look at companies. How many companies went for 10 years? We never knew them. And when they blossom in one day, finally, because they didn't give up. So every leader must understand there is going to be time where I expect high income, but the output or the outcome is really low. But it doesn't mean I must stop. It means I must check my strategy, or I must be patient, or I must just work with the system. Rome was never built over one night. Let me also add, we live in a generation, which is, I don't think is wrong, where everything is quick. Information is on Google. Microwave, you can cook. Instagram, many things is happening now. So the generation that grows now, they think they're going to be rich overnight. That's why people are getting caught up on schemes that say, sell this, in 4 months you're going to be a millionaire. It's even dangerous to be a 4-month millionaire. You don't have energy, the mind, the structure, the skill, the accounting people around you to manage millions. It's actually very dangerous to be a overnight millionaire. I mean, there's a program that talks about people who blew it because they got money overnight. They didn't learn to be patient, because if you can make 10,000 rand and realize that tens of thousands, the pressure of having 10,000 rand in your pocket, and how stores and fashion calls you all of a sudden because of 10,000 rand, hundreds of thousands, millions of rand. We must be able as people to run with perseverance, with endurance, and be long-term thinkers. Disappointment kills a lot of people, because disappointment is a failed expectation. I expected to be this, I received this, so I feel otherwise. So every leader learns sometimes to say, I didn't get it, but I'm not giving up, and it's not the end. Maybe let me re-evaluate my strategy. And sometimes there are times where it's just nothing to do with strategy, it's a timing issue. You just have to be patient, get your brain. I've seen, like, on Instagram and everyone, some people think they will raise, I was watching someone that I follow, a musician on YouTube. He was talking about certain, because some people think they will have subscribers overnight. Overnight, you're just going to have 10,000 people listening to you when you're trying to listen to yourself. But beside that, some things are built with time. You just have to grow with time. And sometimes it's better to have, I always say this, it's better to have 2 subscribers when you're still trying to shape in your message. Because you yourself, you're trying to figure out, what am I saying? And you don't want 100,000 people analyzing this thing that you had somewhere and you're trying to say somewhere. So you're building yourself, you sharpening your skill, you grow with it. There is pressure to have 10,000 clients than to have 4 followers. If you have 10,000 followers, you are given there's going to be about 20% who are just critical of anything you do. And if you cannot take a criticism from your sister, and now you want to be... So there is a process of building so many things. And sometimes life, and some people say God allows you to go through certain things. Because if you still choke, if you don't have 100,000, I spoke in my coaching space and just live on someone during COVID. They were receiving monthly a minimum of 2.7 million rands. And on the 3rd, 4th month of COVID, there was nothing coming in. And on the other side, you find someone frustrated because they don't have 10,000 rand, they want to commit suicide. You realize that it's a sign that they have not been trained for hundreds of thousands. If 10,000 rands wants you to sleep on pills, what happened to someone who has no 3 million rands at the end of the month and they're still alive? But it means you have to grow with stages, be progressive, acquire knowledge, learn from other people. So you must manage your expectations.
That's super helpful. Thank you so much for that. This is really amazing. Podcast family, again, I keep telling you, this is really pure gold. One of the things you mentioned as well, as you always share so much wisdom, is how your life where you currently are is a combination of the choices that you make, or the decisions. In fact, I think you coined it, you are the decisions that you make.
Yes, sir.
Maybe at a bit of a personal note, how do you go about making decisions, like a decision-making grid that any leader can be able to vex their decision-making to ensure that they are aligned to their vision and the life that they want to live going into the future?
I think there are 3 or 4, I can make it 15, but I'm going to make 3 stages or points to make a decision. Number 1, make it.
Okay.
Number 2, make it. Number 3, make it now. You see, obviously, decision must not be always emotional. You must not rush decisions. decision making, the truth of the matter is we are all, let me say 90%, because I'm in this space for whatever reason, are a combination of our decision. Deciding to do what you have done. Maybe by default, but you decided at the end of the day. So we must be, you see, this question is very important because some people live on autopilot. Where they wake up, they don't know what they're going to do, where they're going to go, what's going on in their life. Like we're talking with you that now this is certain things that I need to do, that I'm going to be doing, and I'm growing this and this. Because decisions help you to reach a goal. After you've dreamt about something, after you've wished about it, after you want to be, let me also add this. It's like when people say, I want to change. I've always, for years now, having an issue with someone if they say, you sleep late. I say, no, I'm going to change. As if change is somewhere in the future. The best thing, if you sleep late and you want to sleep, if you only sleep at 12 and you want to decide to sleep at 10 so that you wake up being productive, you don't need to change. You need to sleep at 10. It's not a philosophy. Some people, no, I'll work on it. That you have subconsciously and consciously postponed it. Because you are not it. You will work on it. I understand the process of change. Change is consistent. But sometimes leaders need to jump on the boat now. If I want to wake up fresh tomorrow, I really don't need to work on it. I just need to go to bed at 10. Rather, I'm turning and tossing in bed, but I'm in it. When it's not even to procrastinate, but there is a decision-making postponement that we have in our mind, where you will always work on it. You snap, I'm going to work on it. You don't communicate, I will work on it. When? Because you can do it in the now. I'm making money now. I'm starting the business now. I'm doing, so you must live in the now. I saw a post today which is so powerful that said nothing is guaranteed. You might as well enjoy your today. Wow. And the truth is, not only today, enjoy every moment. I'm telling you. Wow. Nothing is, COVID told us that. Showed us, you see someone today, someone there no longer. So you must be in the present and make decision in the now. And those decisions are going to take you. And let me just add 3 things on decision making and on greatness. Recommendations. I'm developing something on this. We're going to draw it in our podcast. One of the things that, okay, let me start this way. I've not seen someone who's a high performer, great people. I've not met a great people who's not intentional with association. With 3 things. Where they walk, where they stand and where they sit. Who they walk with, who they talk to, who's their company. And who they sit with, what do they talk about. And who influenced them. Wow. Most people are a victim of careless consumption of data they don't need. You don't need to know every joke that is trending, every video that doesn't add life. And I understand people said we need to have fun. Okay, keep having fun with your empty account. There are people who are very sharp. What they listen into. In my family, your family, when we discuss things, I always tell people there are people who don't need to follow. They're not adding value. There are people that don't need to follow me because I'm not adding value in their space. There's nothing that I'm adding their value. It's good to greet and go, but they're not adding value. And there are people that you follow that come in a form of a joke and they're always adding junk. And you end up being full of trending junk than trending knowledge. So if you wanna go on greatness, show me one great person. Show me, I'm gonna just pick up names. Show me memes that Oprah always posts. Because then whatever she posts must bring more than $2 million. So she doesn't have time to goof. It depends what type of a goof. Even their jokes very high jokes, because when she smiles, cash must come in. I was talking to you about Dustin Johnson.
Yes.
Previous year, he was making, I think, something like something average $23 million in golf. Every shot was above $5,000. Every shot, if he hits a shot, it cost him $5,000.
Sure.
Do you think that guy has time to throw the ball on water? It's just too expensive. Focus people. Show me any professor you'll find on YouTube checking the dances and the latest. You just have to choose. This is a line above the line.
Yeah.
And I know people are like, no, they're just too serious. It's up to you. If you really want to be average, average becomes natural. It's actually, if you want to be great, the first thing, one of the things that you'll experience if you pursue greatness, it's people not understanding who you are, and people thinking you're taking yourself serious. Because you go to gym, you choose what you eat, you choose who you associate with, where you go, whatever you are. Why can't you goof around us? Because you're not adding anything. Even animals don't associate with all the animals.
Wow.
You can't find lions chilling out, sitting somewhere with hippos. We're running a different lane. If I come here, I'm coming to consume you.
Yes,
because I know who am I. And again, you know, average leaders, they leave this one. This one is going to be hurtful, but if you get this, it will liberate you. As a leader, either today or yesterday, or in the next 3 days, or in the next year, deal precisely with affirmation of people. Leaders at a high level, they know how to affirm themselves. They're not looking for your following. You follow their brand. They're not trying to get you to clap. They're not posting you to celebrate them. In fact, they're not even thinking about you. So we're living on people who want the applause, the likes, the hearts, the following. I listened to someone. I was talking to, the great, the old man, my old man. He doesn't even know how many people follow his page. I was like, he said, eh? Because anyway, he doesn't. I was like, I know many people who were live on that particular service. I had to wear. Oh, I said, yeah, for real. I'll ask the report. He is not even aware how much we listen to his stuff. Because he has a world ahead. You see, if you keep on looking at likes, you're just looking for affirmation. Deal with your childish issues. If you want greatness, unless you are looking at activity to your brain, and activity to what your brain is building, what you're building, what it's going to be. So as a leader, have this well of self-affirmation, where you can talk to yourself, where you can tell yourself. When if the world is quiet, you're still okay. I always say this, train yourself to be fine, to be with yourself.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but I'm taking so much from this podcast episode. I think anything wise I say, ascribe it to Baba. Anything foolish I say, I'm still a novice. This is really so helpful, super helpful. As we bring in our plane for landing, there's a question which is around the space of balance, especially because you taught about it recently. I know you wear a lot of hats. You're a coach, and we're going to be cueing that in terms of the things you're doing and how people can be able to connect and be part of that. You're a husband, a father, a pastor, a business leader, and you wear different hats. So how does one, in a nutshell, be able to establish the balance in the midst of everything else that they have to do?
It's an interesting one. My 2 cents on that is, I wouldn't call it balance, I'll call it stay centered.
Okay.
I'll use centered word. Okay, let me make an example. Zeb, I can never run away of Sabelo. Run out of Sabelo. So when I'm talking balance, I need to be at peace, centered with me. Because when I'm in my zone, I'll never run away. I always tell people who are like, there's another person who started a business like me and whatever. It's only good if you have competitors. But if someone is copying you, they'll never be you because there is no effort, even though there is, in being you. So when people think about balance, they are watching on TV or on Instagram, someone said, 4, I'm at the gym. At 5, I'm reading a newspaper. I'm reading a book about this. Rich dad, poor dad. At 7, I go to the office. They forget they don't even have an office. And they forget they don't even have a gym. So they put themselves under pressure. At 4, I must have a gym. This person is having a gym in his backyard. So before you try to be balanced like someone who's known, check your account, check your house, check your environment. Because to you, gym will be doing push-ups in your bedroom. So stay centered. Find your flow. Find your flow. What makes me sharp? You know me. One of the things that makes me sharp, I just need good vibes. So my centeredness, it might not be gym. I do gym, I go to the gym. It's part of what I do, but I want to stay centered because for me, I just give me good vibes. Communicate clear with me. If negative vibes, go your way, I'm going my way. So you must stay centered. Once you are centered, you're going to be aware. Sabelo, you have not read much on Africanism. You have not read much on economy. I have not read much on coaching because I know where I'm becoming empty as a centered person. So stay centered in you. It always must come from within out. There are many people, I've seen a lot of people who aspire to be someone else. They start wearing suits because a certain public speaker is always wearing suits. And then you forget you have 3 suits. These people have 20 suits. And after a while, you wear suit for 15 days, you cut this thing because you don't have budget. Because you're biting beyond you can chew. Looking up to someone doesn't mean imitate them. Because you don't have their budget, you don't have their team. For example, as we seated here, someone can say, I'm going to have a podcast and it's going to have a video. Do you know how many people are in this room that you don't see? There is a whole movement. So if you're going to see them and say, Take a Lead is having a verse, they're having a podcast, I can do it. Do you know the engine behind the scene?
Wow.
Do you know the resources, the support? Wow. You can be inspired, but stay centered. Stay centered. Work from where you're at. If I want to start a podcast, maybe mine is only on the phone and clearing the voice. Okay, what app do I use? I'm going to invest in this because that's the money I have. Perfect where you are. Stay centered. Stay centered.
Wow.
And again, people, some won't like this, but it is true. You know, sometimes if you go to someone's page, you can tell whether these people, one, are looking for affirmation or they're great people who are trying to impress the world. Isn't it amazing? I follow a certain musician. I've loved him for years. He was not on Instagram. And people will talk about him. So listen to this. The guy was not on Instagram at all. Apparently, one of his guys and manager finally convinced him. This is an old school singer. I mean, you guys might not know him. It was back in the day. He opened Instagram. When he opened Instagram, there was no post. He had 65,000 followers.
Sure.
Listen to this. For a good 2 weeks, he didn't add anything, and followers were continuing. Put one post, people follow. There was a time where he was at 250,000 followers. He was not following even one person. And then you find someone on the other side who talks greatness. They follow 100,000 people and they have 4 followers. Because you just stay centered. Be comfortable to build. And you are consuming any trending junk, any trending thing. That's why tomorrow you're going to change your business. Now you want to be a hairstylist. Yeah. And then tomorrow there's a trending socks. You want to be in a socks company. You are not focused. Stay centered. Work from within. Wow. Find your lane. Wow. And this is, young people are bad on this. Yeah. Your generation is bad. Scripture, to those who read the Bible, says everyone is correct and right in their own sight. What is killing a lot of young people, I'm writing something on it, is they don't have a voice they listen to. So they are taking all that junk because they don't have someone. If you need someone in your life that you can account to voluntarily. You need someone who's going to say no, even if you don't understand why they said no.
Yeah.
In fact, true mentorship is not what is going around.
Yeah.
True mentorship is to find a person where you're going to be accountable.
Yeah.
If they say stop, sometimes you're crying and stopping. Why should I stop? I see it right.
Yeah.
So people will be like, someone is my mentor. If they say stop, and you continue. So younger people are the law to themselves. They govern themselves. They are law to themselves. And there's a latest thing is, I'm living my truth. I don't know whether you want me to go to living your truth. I just don't know. This living truth thing, maybe you have to school me here. Truth must be only one truth.
Yes,
so if every Tom is living his truth, and people are running, you say to people, go to school, say, no, I'm living my own truth. Do this, no, this is my own truth. There is no own truth. Live one truth. Be accountable, grow.
Sir.
We cannot have a world where everyone do what they want to do. Then we have murderers. Then we have people stealing everything because if my truth is that I'm angry, I'm hating. There are people who are saying, if you hate someone, hate them, it's your own truth. No, that's not truth. It's a disease. Because hate is a disease, not to the person you're hating, to yourself.
Wow.
You're not going to sleep, you're going to be bitter. Worse, if you meet your enemy, the whole week is gone. It's not truth.
Wow.
So you must understand that there's one truth and abide to that truth and be willing to change.
Wow. Podcast family, thank you so much. Funny enough, because this was actually my question. I was going to give you a segment just to speak to young leaders, because a lot of leaders who watch the podcast are young, and you actually addressed us and spoke to us. But just to bring in our plane for landing, just a fun round, 30 seconds, fun round. Favorite old school song?
Favorite old school song? Yes. Where is it?
It's secular. If it's secular, maybe it was a Tilongo song, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe I need to do categories. I'm so everywhere, it doesn't make sense. If you say Kwaido, it will be TKZ back in the day.
Yes, sir.
It will be Uzola back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Childhood nickname? Snake. Oh, wow.
Abbreviation of my second name.
Wow. Yeah. And funny enough, I'm giving the podcast family a behind the scenes. Some of the questions you would want to ask, but you'll never get the opportunity. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Dogs. Bubbles. Scale of 1 to 10, how good of a driver are you?
Like a car?
Yes, sir.
I'm a 9, bro.
I think I'll give you a 12. You're an extremely great driver.
Yeah, I learned driving under circumstances. Average, I'm a 9.
I think your daughter, my wife, she's so comfortable. When I speed, she's always panicking, but I would see you speeding and she's so relaxed. I'm like, I wish I could drive like you. So I agree. It's a 12 out of 10. Leadership pet peeve. What gets under your skin?
What gets under my skin?
Yes, within leadership.
It's punctuality. People doesn't respect time. Yeah. And then being disorganized. My goodness. Let's not go there. It's going to get under my skin right now. We just have to be organized. If you can control something, if we know we're going to meet here, let's just meet here. Okay. So I think, yeah, that one, yeah, I don't know whether I'm working on it or I need to work on it, but I just don't take average. Okay. I don't expect average. And again, working with me, it's not as easy because you must separate issues quick. Yeah. You must flow quick. I might laugh you as a friend when we're talking work. I'm not your friend, I'm your boss. And while you're there, if you get stuck with me, you need to be on the run and be prepared. In any manner, how people treat time, it really shows how they treat you. No one will be late for a president. If someone say, oh, president, let's meet in town, they won't say I'm doing their hair. So if people don't come on time, it's not that they were busy. You are not a priority.
Sure. Favorite means of communication app? WhatsApp, email, PPM, MiG 33.
My office will be. I know eyes are rolling. I'm not good at answering texts. Because I came where, in terms of typing certain things, certain people do certain things. So I think voice, phone call, text, you can text, but voice is better.
Okay.
Voice is better.
In conclusion, last question, something you're most proud of in this season of your life?
My family.
No.
My family, not only in season. In fact, I was thinking about that. I'm going to post it one of the times. I was thinking, obviously, family for me, it's a broad term. It's just beyond blood.
Yeah.
Whatever happens now, I'll be grateful for the family I have. In fact, in all my achievements, and I hope in everything I do, when I become old and my time will be gone, it'll be happy. Just a happy family.
Wow.
Not perfect, but just happy, goofy, and they're becoming. And we challenge them. My kids and my family, they're having business, they're building something, they trade with one another. So my family is not only proud of my resource. That's where I also get centered. Family to me is everything. And that's why I don't I wouldn't have much friends or call anyone family or friends. I don't play with words. If it gets to that, you mean something. And then the deal about that, once you put someone in a certain space, they can hurt you. I don't like giving people access to hurt me. Few people in the world can hurt me. Disappoint me, you can, but hurt me.
Sure. I think there's a podcast for another day. That's actually a whole podcast for another day. On behalf of family, we honor you. And we're super proud of you and all the strides you are making, and just for paving the way on our behalf.
Sorry, I forgot. I'm a D'Angelo guy.
Okay.
I'm a D'Angelo guy. Any day,
Wow.
I'll listen to that guy. Yeah, I'm a Smallwood and Cosmo.
Okay.
And a number of new guys.
Local, Rebecca Mbalope, Deborah Fraser.
No. Local. Funny enough, this person never believes this. One of my favorite singers now in the world currently is Counted.
Oh, wow.
He never believes it, but he's one of my favorites.
Wow.
I just love his music, love his temperament, I love his craziness.
Yeah.
So anyone who has not downloaded Kaya's stuff, get it. In fact, there's a couple of guys, I can call their name in the States, that I've told them to download it. They love his music without understanding lyrics.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think I'm so thrilled to really have this conversation. Thank you. We are better. And I say this really every time. We are better for the time we get to spend with you. And the world is a better place because of you. We truly honor the great role that you are playing in the different spheres of influence that you are part of, and your hard work that you're putting in. And maybe just to conclude on your side, your parting thoughts. I know there are incredible things that are coming up. There's a podcast which I'm really so excited and so looking forward to, which we'll be linking in our bio as soon as it's out. Just watch out. We'll be definitely sharing it on our social media pages. There's the executive coaching, that is also something that you are doing. And there's quite a lot of things. Maybe just to throw it over to you, your parting remarks and how best our podcast family can be able to connect with you and be part of all that you do.
Yeah, whoever's at Instagram with their stuff, this is where I want to part though.
Yes, sir.
We live in the world that shows a lot of materialism, and many people feel like they're not successful because they don't have a material thing. Anything, if your riches are material, you are poor.
Sure.
You are poor. You could have materialism, but true riches. COVID, we received something that just boggled my mind. A certain doctor told me that currently your medical aid can't help you. Hospitals are full. That thing bothered me because we became equal. I've seen people dying with millions of rand. They can't buy a kidney. I've seen people dying when they cannot professors, millionaires. And then you ask yourself, what's the point?
Sure.
Don't live life only pursuing materialism. It's gonna end. At some point you'll have it all, but don't have everything when you cannot smile on your own.
Sure.
True wealth comes from within.
Wow.
Work self and let self use private jet, first class to develop self. Materialism, in my view, should enhance and give you time to create new memories.
Yeah.
But it should enhance and give value to true wealth, which is self.
Wow.
How many people you know who are rich and having all the money in the world, their children don't know them because they gave them money but they never gave themselves. And then in that same place, leadership start in the morning where you are, Mjondolo, Ekaya, in the suburbs, in the airport. So don't think I'll be a leader when I'm there. Lead yourself where you are.
Wow.
And I wish you all well. I wish you all the best. And we, even to you, Zep, you're doing incredible. We're super proud of what you're doing.
Everyone whose path crosses with you. I think I have so many people even within my space who are following you on social media. And I encourage you, podcast family, to head over to Instagram, Facebook, all social media platforms, Sabelo Ndimande, you'll be able to find. And there's a lot of wisdom that is shared there, videos on Sundays. And sure, if there's a page that you definitely need to follow, it's Ubaba's page. So thank you so much. We're super thrilled and we took so much from the wisdom that you shared with us. And to you, podcast family, again, please be reminded to download the episode notes. It's linked in the bio. A great tool that will help you with application as you share this content with your teams. I'm so glad that you were part of the episode till the end, till we meet again next time. Ensure that you are taking your lead as we together change the world one individual at a time.
Thank you.